Welcome to the tutorial guide for Armor Break, a digital card game available on Tabletop Simulator. This will teach you both about the cards and how to play the game. Let's get started with the cards. In Armor Break, there are 3 different types of cards to know. These are armor cards, monster cards, and spell cards. Armor cards are the namesake of the game. They are equipped to your character and used to keep track of key values. The red icon with the number is the armor value. This constitutes how much damage you can take during the game before the armor breaks. The green icon is the attack value. This indicates how much inherent damage you have on an attacking turn. The blue icon is the spell draw value. This indicates how many spell cards you draw at the beginning of your turn. And in the center of the base of the card is the card effect text. Certain armors will have specific effects that you can use during your turn. Armors have 3 stages to break before a game is lost. These are the primary, the secondary, and the legendary armors. These 3 armors are located in sequence in the armor deck and placed one by one, breaking each time and increasing in power in turn. Once a player's last armor breaks, the game is over and that player loses. Monster cards are used to assist your character in battle, in both attacking and defending. Their attack value is located at the top of the card. This value is added to your armor's attack value to indicate how much total damage you're threatening in a turn. On the left of the card is the defense value. When defending, a monster card is placed horizontally and can help mitigate some of the damage coming in from your opponent. And at the base of the card is the card effect. Monsters typically have a beneficial effect at the base of the card that activates when the monster is placed. Monster cards can either be normal or legendary. A monster deck is made up of 20 monster cards. Normal monster cards can have up to 4 copies of each in the monster deck, while you can only have a maximum of 2 legendary monster cards in the monster deck. This is because legendary monsters typically have better stats and effects than their normal counterparts. Spell cards are the most straightforward cards of the game. They only have an effect at the base of the card that activates when they're placed in the spell zone. This is typically very beneficial. In a spell deck, there are a total of 15 cards, and you may have up to 3 copies of a single spell in the deck. Now, let's run through the playing field. In the center is the character zone. This is where the card representing your character is placed. Below it is the armor deck zone. This is where your armor deck is placed. To the right is the spell deck zone. This is where your spell deck is placed. To the left is your monster deck zone. This is where your monster deck is placed. At the bottom left is the break zone. This is where broken armors are placed, as well as placed monsters and activated spells at the end of each turn. In the center of the field is the battle zone. This is where battles between monsters take place. On the side there's the spell zone, where spell cards are placed when activated. And opposite that is the attack and armor dice. These are used to keep track of both attack and defense, as well as your character's armor before it breaks. When a game starts, place your character card in the center field, as well as your spell deck, your armor deck, and your monster deck in the appropriate zones. Begin by shuffling both your monster and spell deck, and place your primary armor from the top of your armor deck onto your character. To determine who has the first turn, a dice is rolled, with each player calling odds or evens. Each player starts by drawing 2 monster cards from the top of their monster deck. This is done at the beginning of each turn, but the first player does not get to draw any additional cards. The turn player may then place 0 or 1 monster cards from their hand vertically into the battle zone. Then, both the monster's attack value and the armor's attack value are added together to determine the total attack value of the player. The opposing player may then place anywhere between 0 to 3 monsters horizontally in the battle zone to mitigate the incoming attack. The total defense value can be tracked using the green attack dice. Once the opposing players finish placing all of their defending monsters, damage is then calculated using the difference between the sum total of the attack and the opposing player's defense, and the damage is inflicted to the opponent's armor. The attacking player's turn then ends, and all monsters and spells that were placed on the field or in the spell zone are then sent to the break zone. Then it is the next player's turn. When a player is not able to mitigate enough damage to stop their armor being broken, the armor is then sent to the break zone, and the next armor is placed from the top of the armor deck. Once the secondary armor is placed, a player then gains access to spell cards from their spell deck and can draw a number at the beginning of each turn equal to the spell draw number on the armor card. Spells may then be used proactively or reactively at any time during either player's turn. Again, once all 3 armors of a player have been broken and sent to the break zone, the game ends and that player loses. Pre-made decks are available for you to easily jump into and start playing the game with a friend. Or you can build your own custom deck using the entire card pool located in the black deck box. This concludes the game tutorial on Armor Break. I hope you enjoy building decks and playing games with your friends. This game is and will always be free on Tabletop Simulator. Link is in the description below,